Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 9 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Enfield where a man is now facing attempted murder charges. Halifax County deputies and Enfield police were called to a reported break-in on Wednesday. Now, the caller told 911 that the suspect had fired a gun into the home before going in. Officials say the caller also said they knew the suspect personally. The caller was still on the phone with the dispatcher when deputies arrived, saying that the suspect was still inside the home at the time. Enfield police say Dashun Drahan was arrested after he came to the door when law enforcement forced entry. After an investigation, police charged him with attempted murder, discharging a firearm into an occupied dwelling, assault with a deadly weapon, and discharging a firearm within the city. He was taken to jail and given a $150,000 bond by a judge yesterday. Now we also want to turn our attention to a barn fire in Greene County that firefighters did what they could, but unfortunately the barn is a total loss. It happened at around 5:45 last night. Bullhead Fire Department was called to a structure at 9058 Highway 58 North. Now, upon arrival, crews found a large bulk barn fully engulfed in flames. Fire Chief Josh Harrell said the fire was caused by people burning natural vegetation during low humidity and high winds, causing the fire to spread to the barn. No injuries were reported, but the barn is a total loss, according to officials. Now, the chief advises the public to be mindful of low humidity and high winds when burning things outside. The Walstenburg, Shine, and Fort Run fire departments, along with Greene County EMS and emergency management, aided with the fire. And now we want to turn to your weather forecast. It is, again, kind of the calm before the storm. Today, we will have some light rain showers moving across parts of eastern North Carolina. Cloud cover certainly present in the east today, but air temperatures are going to be noticeably colder. We're looking at about a 10 to 15 degree loss from heat from yesterday afternoon to this afternoon. So if you're heading out the door, haven't stepped outside just yet, you're probably going to want a jacket or a coat. Right now, not seeing much in terms of winds in Pitt County, at least not at Greenville Airport, Pitt Greenville Airport, that is. 45 degrees comes with a dew point of 28 degrees, indicating again we've seen a little bit of rise in the amount of moisture in the air. That is going to be needed if we're going to get any sort of wintry precipitation, which we very much will. Certainly not today. Coming in later tomorrow afternoon to tomorrow evening. We'll go over that in full detail coming up in just a few moments. But right now, most of us looking at the low to mid 40s for inland areas. But as you get closer to the water, it's more upper 40s, even into the low 50s right now in Stumpy Point, along with Beaufort, both coming in at 51 degrees. Do want to say good morning to Bernice Davis. Thank you so much for joining me over on Facebook. And yeah, brace for some impacts this weekend. That's what we've been telling people, and it's the tune hasn't changed much. What's really changed is the impacts we're expecting. Still looking again at more of an ice event over the weekend than a snow event. Now, could we see some snowflakes? Yeah, we'll get into that coming up in just a few moments. But northerly winds right now coming in at a fairly light clip. Some areas 5 to 10 miles per hour, other areas flat out calm. We will see a little bit more of a breeze later on today, but the source of, oh, well, shoot, I just hit the wrong button, and now we fast forwarded. So, you know what? What we're going to do? We're going to restart it from the tip top. Restart it from the top. I skipped all the good stuff. I'm going to leave you guys just hanging out with none of the meat to the forecast. So, Greenville, again, right now looking at air temperatures 45 degrees. Here's a look at your current air temps. Sorry for the repeat. Had a wrong button push there. Winds again out of the north. But here's a look at what we've got for today. That area of low pressure will bring some rain to the east. But more importantly, it's going to bring air temperatures down. As that cold front attached to that initial low sinks to our south, that opens us up to cold air moving in from the north. Then, so at this point, we already have cold air moving into eastern North Carolina, locked in for your Saturday. And then we've got the next system rolling in that will bring the moisture to the party. And right now, it'll initially come down as snowflakes, sleet, and freezing rain. Initially snowflakes and sleet, and then it will transition over into freezing rain because that area of low pressure is going to be A, moving up to our north, but B, moving right over us. Those low pressure systems, while again, they do house quite a bit of moisture, they also bring in warmer air. And that is, again, what's keeping us from a snowy forecast. The fact that that low is going to be moving just off to our north, putting us more in what is considered the warm sector of that frontal system. Of course, we've got two lows to get through, so just because we're done with one as we head into really your Sunday at around lunchtime, this is Sunday morning at 9 a.m., we've got certainly another one sitting further back towards the west. That one will be pushing its way through eastern North Carolina Sunday evening through Sunday night, exiting by the time we get to Monday morning. And again, it's going to bring about freezing rain conditions through eastern North Carolina. Now, while it's happening, I want everybody to understand that it's just going to look like a cold and rainy day. It's not one of those things where, you know, the raindrops come down with a little bit of an extra glimmer because they're freezing raindrops. That is certainly not the case. What is going to happen is it's going to look just like a cold day. Rain is going to fall, and then those drops are just going to gradually ice over and accumulate on all exposed surfaces. So here's again a look at that initial round coming in. Snowflakes possible, but there's that rain snow line early Sunday morning, and it's pretty much draped over eastern North Carolina. Now by 6 a.m. Early Sunday morning, I'm anticipating most of the east will be down below freezing. So at this point, we're still accumulating freezing rain. Along the coast, air temperatures are expected to stay a little bit above freezing, particularly the outer banks, the immediate coast. So not anticipating, again, a lot of freezing rain accumulations there. But as you head further inland, your air temperatures are going to be lower. And as you can see, moisture will be present. So that, again, is going to lead us to an icy forecast. Now, through the day on Sunday, we will be warming up above freezing. So there will be a time period where we switch over from freezing rain to just rain. And you're really not going to notice that much unless, of course, we accumulate quite a bit of freezing rain overnight Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then you can kind of see those ice chunks falling off of the tree branches, off of, elevated surfaces, off of, fences would be one, gutters another. If that happens again, don't go stand outside and look up. I wonder if that ice chunk is going to melt off. Don't do that. Look at it from the side, just like they said in The Office. Anyways, as far as when those air temperatures are going to be dropping back down below freezing Sunday night, right now air temperatures may stay right around 30, 31, 32 degrees, and that will limit the amount of ice we can accumulate overnight Sunday night into Monday morning. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. If anything happens, this just turns into a rain event that it's continued to, again, trend towards. That is going to be good news for us. The last thing we want is an actual ice storm. They are terrible. They're not fun, cold, limiting. It's just a dreary time. So hopefully, again, that low pressure system can bring in enough moisture or enough heat to turn all the moisture from potentially freezing rain into, again, something a little bit less impactful, say just cold rain. Yeah, it's not going to be a fun weekend. Just straight up, it's not going to be a fun weekend. But if we can avoid the types of freezing rain accumulations that normally result in power outages, I think we're doing a pretty good job. So here's again what we've got as we take a look at ice accumulations across eastern North Carolina. There, of course, we're fast forwarding it all the way through, even into next week. But here's a look at what we are anticipating as far as ice accumulations are concerned. Along the immediate coast, not really looking at anything. Air temperature is going to be staying warmer than 32 degrees, so your opportunity, again, of accumulating a lot of ice really isn't there. But once you, again, get a little bit further inland, say around Washington, portions of Terrell, certainly Beaufort, Pamlico, Craven, Jones, Onslow, and maybe a portion, a small portion of, again, Carteret County could end up seeing about a glaze to 1/10 of an inch. And then you work your way a little bit further inland, kind of get to the Highway 17 corridor, maybe a little bit off to the west. You're looking about a 1/10 to a 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation. From there, say if you drew a line from Kenansville through Kinston into Greenville and then over towards Williamston and up towards Allander, kind of draw that line, you're looking again at around a 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch of ice accumulations. That 1/2 an inch is when things get dangerous, really dangerous. We're talking widespread power outages once you get to about 1/2 an inch of ice accumulation on pretty much everything. So that it starts to get certainly more dangerous and more concerning. And then along and west of I-95, Raleigh could certainly be seeing around 1/2 an inch up to an inch of ice accumulations. Snow accumulations really not there. We could again see a few areas get a dusting, maybe up to about an inch. Some spots closer to the Virginia line, maybe up to 2. But this is certainly not a snow system. We were talking about that 2 days ago, how everything had really shifted from looking like that cold air was going to lock in. That area of low pressure would move a little bit further south, keeping us in that kind of cold zone with that low moving further north, introducing us to a little bit more heat over the weekend, specifically on Sunday. That's really going to limit, our snow potential, but B, the amount of freezing rain we can accumulate. So that, of course, good news in some regards, bad news in others. Of course, I know a lot of people are hoping and itching for some snow. Yeah, I am too. I went upstairs in the attic yesterday and looked at the sled and noticed just how much dust was on it and just thought, well, a little bit more collection before I can get you down. But yeah, 38 degrees on Sunday. That again is why we are not going to again be seeing snow. Overnight Sunday night, air temperatures continue to rise now to 31 degrees for your overnight lows Sunday night into Monday. Right now, I would say your Sunday air temperatures are going to be the most important thing to track. The colder we get, the more ice we will accumulate through the night on Sunday and extending into Monday. Monday, 39 degrees. There will still be some slick spots on the roads, but with overnight lows jumping up a little bit higher out of the 20s and into the low 30s, that should again really help DOT crews with their efforts to clear the roads early on Monday. Tuesday, well, really Tuesday morning, 13 degrees. Another cold morning. Warmest time of the week next week is actually going to be coming in Wednesday afternoon at a 40-degree mark. So keep the jackets handy. It's not going to warm up next week. And in fact, there's some signs that we may see another flirtation with some snowflakes coming up as we head into the following weekend. Obviously not on your 8-day forecast yet, but will be later on this afternoon. Just want to give you guys that heads up that there is another possibility. We're not completely done with our snow hopes quite just yet. At least we are for this system, not for the following week's system. Yeah, want to make that clear. Anyways, that's all we have time for today's 9 a.m. news and weather update. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, have a fantastic Friday.
WITN First Alert Desk is sponsored by ENC Pirate Realty.